Strato has been a premier supplier to the rail and transit industry for over 40 years. It is recognized as a leader in the research and development of solutions to make trains safer and trains faster, especially in the application of air hoses. This video reviews the most up-to-date findings and solutions to reduce some of the main causes of train delays. As railroads strive to increase the average speed of trains and improve on-time schedule metrics, train delay becomes a core problem. With over 26,000 train delays a year due to in-service failure of components, it is clear the industry needs to address the reason for component failures and equip cars with components that will not only meet functional needs, but will have lower incidence of failure. The Wall Street Journal recently hosted an expert panel on the future of the industry, and one of the more compelling statements that came out of that was, improved transit times and consistent reliability are key to long-term rail industry viability. Strato has two products that we believe, if put on cushion cars, could save the industry millions of dollars by avoiding thousands of train delays per year: the double-wide gasket and the coupler-mounted bracket. This is the story of how we developed the products, but the simple fact is that there exists today a real tool to reduce train delays in a meaningful way. The products not only will effectively reduce air hose separations, but they have direct cost benefits over current products. Here is their story. Strato has an engineering philosophy we call DFM squared. This combines the goals of design for manufacturability and design for maintainability. Our design teams are required to understand performance issues in the field with products that they are tasked to design. The goal is to lower direct cost, lower the cost to own, and to avoid costs that poor performance of the products causes in other systems. The discipline to identify and to address cost avoidance is key. The field work associated with understanding train delay is a good example of DFM squared. Strato has conducted, in collaboration with the AAR, Class 1, and others, field studies and testing of air hose-related issues for the industry. We have collected and analyzed field data over the last several years and have identified that air hose separation on in-service trains is related to cushioned cars over 96% of the time. Air hose separation is the largest reported reason for train delay for in-service failures. Why cushion cars? During lab simulations and field studies for end hose performance, we found unexpectedly that the gaskets used in the standard air hose had a design flaw. The gaskets, because of a thin wall, had a tendency to fold and misalign about 10% of the time. The folding did allow the gasket to seal enough to pass a train brake test, but it did weaken the connection between hoses. To pull apart those hoses would require considerably less force than the minimum required. Any strong tug or stress on either hose would cause the hoses to pull apart. That alone did not answer why cushion cars had an air hose separation problem. The second part of the investigation was answered in our study on end-of-car brackets. We found that some brackets are designed to use the end hose to pull the intermediate hose into place as a train turns or goes through buff and draft. This places a tug on the air hose connection that acts like a pull-apart force. Other times, because some brackets can get easily damaged, they lose their ability to move easily and require even more of a tug from the air hose to get into place. Cold weather in particular can cause the EOC brackets to freeze or become stiff and require a significant tug from the air hose to move. We were able to simulate this in our labs, and it became clear that when a cushion car had an EOC bracket that required the end hose to tug it into place, coupled with a misaligned gasket, the hoses would part. Train delays cost the industry over $15 million a year just in wasted resources, fuel, labor, car, and locomotive costs. It made sense to us that given 30% of delays could be traced to cushion cars and air hose uncouplings, that products had to be designed to correct it. The double-wide gasket was a complex design project. DFM squared had the team address the question, how do you make a gasket that does not fold, that will seal and provide a proper pull-apart range and have a longer life? To solve this, our engineers had to change the composition of the rubber, provide greater UV protection, and make the design of the gasket sturdier so it would not fold or pop out when air hoses become uncoupled. The industry spends almost $1 million a year in replacing gaskets, and we wanted to address that cost. The CMB also had challenges beyond a system that does not require the air hose to move it. We had to come up with a product that would stay on the car better, would not get damaged easily by impacts, and regardless of condition, would not require the end hose to move it in any direction. We found in our studies that EOC brackets, besides using the air hose to tug it around, had a rather high cost of maintenance and an unacceptable amount of times would fall off a car or break off that could lead to derailments. Both products are now on the market. They will reduce cushion car air hose uncouplings if used. 3 years ago, we put the CMB and double-wide hoses on cars owned by a Class 1 that had the worst record of hose separations. 3 years later, there has been no train delays associated with air hose separations on these cars. The double was also used in a cold car unit train in extreme cold weather in northern Canada, and it stopped air hose separations and allowed the train air to charge quickly even in sub-zero temperatures. The double-wide adds no cost to the hose and is 100% compatible with all air hoses on trains today. The double-wide is effective when coupled with standard hoses. In fact, it improves the seal, increases the pull-apart force compared to 2 standard hoses, and does not have to be changed out because it will resist the damaging effects of UV. The rubber composition has better sealing ability in cold weather. The concern expressed is that the industry would have to go to having 2 gasket sizes for air hoses. Some believe this is a large problem. We think solving train delays is worth the effort. The CMB reduces direct cost and cost of ownership. It is faster, easier, and safer to install, requiring no welding or undercar work. The sturdy cast design will reduce maintenance costs significantly. The redundant attachment system will keep the CMB securely attached to the coupler and not fall off. Lastly, the industry will find it has almost universal application for cushion cars. The complexity of inventory and the need to having several types of EOC systems can be reduced. The CMB and the double-wide gasket is Strato's response to reducing train delay. Our field tests are strong indication that we are right in that thousands of train delays can be reduced each year if cushion cars are equipped with these components. The industry is just beginning to adopt these products. We will work with our customers to assure that the benefits of using these parts will meet the high standards of our design team and the clear needs of the industry. Strato is dedicated to making safe, effective, and extended life components for cars and locomotives. To ensure that we meet the mission of our company, exceed the need, we will continue to expand our resources and increase our capabilities to serve the industry and our customers.